Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ellisa Cooper, and this is Cooking in Quarantine. And if you'll notice, if you can read backwards, and I'm sorry to say, but we are now under 24 hours. Our long national nightmare is almost over. I could not be happier. So, to all of you out there who, like me, have hearts that are full of gratitude that we survived this, I am full of gratitude that we have survived this, and I am not putting the cart before the horse. I am simply saying that with 23 hours and 58 minutes to go, so far so good. So anyway, boys and girls out there, I'm going to whip together a little something today, and I thought that my hands were going to be more visible here. Look at me, I'm going to have to be all the way back here. I've really got to get better at this. But anyway, the real feature today is, as I mentioned, that I have been at the behest of my physical therapist, been juicing. And so this morning, I took the leftovers from celery and carrot. I've learned I do not like carrot juice, so I'm going to add that back in. It's made me very upset that I've been throwing out this pulp, and I've not quite accommodated in my life how to use it all. And so there are things like, I like ginger and things that really fixes it for me. But you don't really want ginger in everything. And I'm putting an apple and some stuff. So just those kinds of things that kind of get you through to get things that are new to your palate down, right? So anyway, here's what we're going to do today. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt this camera ever so slightly so that while I'm doing a few things, nope, wrong way. Let's do this just a little better. That might be it. Here we go. And now you can see my hands. Excellent. So anyway, I wanted to do something that would be really simple because the things that I've read have talked about saving all of this up and using it to make stock. That's a great idea if you're looking to make stock. But I thought, I live in this small apartment. Food smells permeate really quickly. But I thought instead of doing that, making a stock and straining this, why not make a nice pureed soup? So I've got a couple of these super sweet potatoes. I've got just an old russet potato. The onion is not here. I've got some little cloves of garlic I cleaned up. And I have here a little hot pepper that I've just pierced down the side. So let's get this party started. And now I've gone too far, haven't I? Let me fix this. Let me fix it. It'll all be okay. There we go. That should help. Just a little bit, maybe. Sorry, guys. I thought that I'd gotten it better than that today. I stood right here. Anyway, so I hope everyone is well today and celebrating the same as I. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's get my nice heavy bottomed pot started on medium heat. I've got some butter over here, as always, handy. And a little olive oil if we need it. And I still have this garlic oil, right? That seems like a good thing that we could use in here. So while that is getting started, let me just put a little hunk of butter in here. We don't need that much, just a little bit so that the onion has something to cook in. Make sure I didn't bring any paper with me. And then I'll also give myself just a quick twirl of olive oil. Bada bing. As you can see, it's almost go to the grocery store day. We're out of even things like olive oil in my house. So I'm going to give this little onion. I've already scored it so that it's easy to cut. See how thoughtful I was to get up and get ready for you guys, even if I didn't get the camera in the right place. I really have to start working on this camera thing. It's really given me some agita these last few days. So I've got my bench press out, and I'm just going to scoop up this half an onion, put it right in there. Perfect. Give them a good scoop. And I'm going to let those cook a little bit. So this weekend I did a lot, many things, and started some more. It's a constant effort, as you know, as you can imagine, to keep my tiny little, 40, 50 square foot kitchen in good enough order to be able to do this on a regular basis. So I spent almost the full day on Saturday on the phone in here, just with my earbuds in and my phone in my pocket and constantly doing things. And it's nice when you have things organized. So one of the reasons I had to do that is, as I mentioned, I'm juicing now because my physical therapist thinks it might help with some of my aches and pains, right? As it said, that pain should be a warning sign or a siren to you, not just a normal everyday situation. So as with many of us, we've got bad guts, and she thinks maybe it might be that my gut could use a little help. And so I'm trying to really clean things up. Like we said, drinking juices, loading up on vitamins. When you open your cabinet and your salt and pepper isn't there, you realize it's probably still where it was when you left it after dinner last night. So anyway, we will give ourselves just a little bit of salt here. And then I'm going to, a little renegade piece of onion there. I'm going to take my little bits of garlic. I have all of these. I'm sort of lazy, and I end up with lots of little tiny middle pieces of garlic because they're such a pain. So I took the time this morning, and I cleaned a bunch of them. So there was that little bit there that's ready to roll. So I have one less of those. So while this is in here cooking, this is very nice. Might as well dice up a potato, right? I'm just going to give that a few cuts through. You just want them to be a good size so that they'll cook pretty quickly. And then, boom, quick quarters. That's pretty easy. And that is a little discolored, so I'll just put those over there. I'm just putting this in really for the starch, right? Sweet potatoes have lots of fiber and not quite the starch that a regular potato has. And I'm just leaving the skins on because I'm eventually going to run the burr mixer through here, or what do we call those things? The immersion blender. That's what I'm really supposed to call it. These are a little harder, so I'm going to cut them as I cut them, however I can. Here we go. Here we go. Excellent. That is starting to look really nice over here. Excellent. Just a little bit of brown in the butter in the bottom of the pan. So why not? Oh yes, we need to toss in our veg here. So let's see what happens with no liquid in here. This will be really interesting to see what happens. I have no idea. And I'm going to mix that together with the, mix this all together with the onions. This is kind of interesting. Let it it's kind of like when you coat something in spices. Now it's just all coated together. And speaking of spices, since I've lost my, I'm going to put a little cumin because why not? That's not enough cumin. You can't get cumin out like that. There we go. That's a little cumin. And let's see, what else will we put in here? A little cayenne pepper. Now that we can probably do this way. Beautiful. And I've got garlic in there, and that seems pretty good. And I think that the recipe I read earlier today suggested I might enjoy a little bit of, herbs de Provence, which I enjoy always. I'm a big fan of the herbs du Provence. And for those of you who wonder, it's just really kind of like the same, similar to what you have in like an Italian seasoning, but the important part is the lavender, right? Oops. So I'm going to put a little of this fragrant garlic oil in there because it's pretty dry in there. And let's see. Let's give that a little stir. That looks good. It smells good. And I think I'm going to put this carrot juice in here and see what happens. Oh, that's nice. It's enjoying that. So let's just go all the way in with the carrot juice. I like that. It's enjoying this. Cooking up nicely. And now I'm just going to chop my potatoes in. And keep cutting up some potatoes. And then I've got a box over here of organic vegetable stock. Because I'm going to try to also be meat-free as much as I can during this time. I was kind of skeptical about the whole notion of juicing until I learned that the point of juicing is to kind of give your system the break so that you don't have the burden of digestion, so you can just absorb nutrients. And now it's not that I'm not eating at all, it's just that I'm starting the day with greens. So that's been a new experience for me, and it's going to be a challenge for me to both figure out how to keep all of the waste organized in a way. I mean, I use so much ginger that it seems like I should be saving the ginger and re-steeping that, shouldn't I? So I need to get that organized. Now, sometimes I just need to talk about these things out loud a little bit. So here we are. We're going to get this all in the bathtub, as my friend Rachel would say. And I hope I remember, she used to come on in the mornings right after Regis and Kathy Lee, which was perfect for me. But now she comes on in the middle of the afternoon. It's very, oh look, I got a white one and I got a yellow one. So let's just give this a nice slit down the middle. Come on, baby. There we go. No? Hang on, I need to put this here. That's easier. Ah, very good. Very, very good. Beautiful. Do we actually think that this is a sweet potato? We'll find out soon enough, won't we? It was with the sweet potatoes, but it doesn't seem to be the same kind of yam or sweet potato like. It seems almost more celeriac or something. I don't know. But it can't be bad, right? Can't be bad or bad for me. Well, I guess it could be bad for me. You never know. Since I don't have any clue exactly what I'm putting in here. But I'm going to be brave and go with it. Here we go. Just scoop it up and plop it in. So that is really all we really need to do for now. Now I might have to come back here in about a half an hour after this is all whizzed up and whirred up, and when I've put my salt and pepper back where it belongs, and burn mix this and see how much longer of this presidency we have. So anyway, boys and girls, all I have to say is this. Of course, I will not be here at noon tomorrow. I will be, like all good and patriotic Americans, wearing my Chuck Taylor Converse sneakers, or actually we're knockoffs because my feet are too narrow for Chucks. But anyway, that's that aside, and my pearls and all kinds of stuff. So ladies, wear your Chucks for Kamala and wear your pearls for Ruth. And I hope that everybody is on their best behavior. I hope that we don't pardon too many criminals today. And I pray to God's known and unknown that we do better moving forward as a nation, as a people, as a country. Let's just do better, kids, right? Love your neighbor is not that hard. And I promise you, if you get some neighbors who aren't all white and mean-spirited, you will have a much nicer life. How about that? This weekend, this is a funny thing to talk about. This weekend, I was chastising somebody saying, you know, one of my favorite Dave Chappelle moments is when he points out that back when he was doing Chappelle's show, that there was a nice lady who was in Standards and Practices, and she called him in one day about a skit he was going to do, and she said, Dave, you can't say that word on network television. And Dave says, she was a really nice lady. So I really didn't question her. He said, I walked out of her office and I turned around and came back in. And she said, why can't I say that word? She said, I say the N-word all the time on the show, and that's okay by you. And she said, because you aren't one. And I think that that was kind of the conversation I was having with somebody, is that it's okay to use a pejorative. If it's a pejorative about your own group of people. I can call myself a honky because I am one. But for me to use another word that coming out of my mouth is a pejorative, even if it can come out of that same person of the same race's mouth, is not a pejorative. I understand that. So anyway, this person chastised me for being so in tune to my brown brothers and sisters, but chastised me for not being as equally sensitive to First Nations. And I spent a lot of time this weekend thinking about that. And I realized that is absolutely something that we all need to do better, because that is a collective American sin in the same way, and in some ways worse. We at least let our brown brothers and sisters walk around in the streets. We literally have incarcerated the First Nations people in our country, those few who we weren't kind enough to continue the summary execution of. So anyway, that's a little something that I thought about this weekend. And as you know, I think about all kinds of things all the time because I'm here living in isolation in my tiny little apartment alone. And I am lucky that the nice lady who does my PT, they're very big lefties and we like them very much. So anyway, here's my soup. Let's give it a good stir so that everything gets down there and covered by the stock. I emptied the stock box. There's just a little bit of something still in there. So let's try not to waste anything. And that'll slowly come up to boil. It'll need about 20 minutes. And there we go. So all I'm going to say is, boys and girls, why don't you take this opportunity? I know that the Bidens had suggested a day of service for Martin Luther King Day. If you weren't able to do it yesterday, think about it this whole week. If there's something you can do in your community, somebody you can help, this really is a great time to do it. I don't think we can necessarily change the way people think, but we can change the way people think of us, right? I think there are a lot of people who are very, very misguided about what progressives, liberals, Democrats, however you identify, what we believe and what we do and how we see things. And I think that it's very, very interesting that the things that as a group we're sort of universally accused of. And there is, if you're not aware, if you're not students of psychology, there is something that people do, which is called projection. And so people who don't handle their own psychology particularly well are most likely to lash out and accuse completely innocent people of the things that they themselves, the speaker, are most guilty of. 45 in Chief is a perfect example of that. And so I caution you that people who believe the worst rumors about their neighbors, it's probably because they have something worse in their own basement or attic. So I really think these are cautionary times. As I said, after the 2016 election, this is the time for you, separating the wheat from the chaff, to know who you can and can't open the door to when things get rough. And so this is another thing that we've learned, that there are people who will believe any kind of crazy, and we've got to teach civics again. I saw this morning on the news Tony DeCopel going around asking people in the street to answer just generic questions on the citizenship application. Not one person, I think actually one person who refused to be on camera was able to answer all the questions. But if you don't know that there are 435 representatives and 100 senators, then what are you bitching about the government? If you don't know who represents you in Congress, then why are you bitching about who represents me in Congress? So let's everybody take this week of hopefully peaceful transfer and learn a little bit of something about the government that you all want to bitch about. All right? So that's my very low-key, quiet rant for the day, because I am hoping for happier times as we move forward. So hello, Denise. Yes, we shouldn't have to be reminded to help others. Wouldn't that be nice? And hello, Miss Julie, and hello, Leanne, and hello to everybody. And did I put my pepper? Oh, guys, I never put my pepper in my soup. So let's put that pepper right in there. And I'm going to hop down here just for 1 second and see if I can find the correct lid and give this a little cover, and we'll see what turns out. So guys, look for me on Instagram. Go and subscribe to my channel on YouTube, youtube.com/decanted-diva if you can't find me. And nobody can spell my name right, so don't even try that. So I love you all. Thanks so much. We'll check back and see the soup in a little bit. Ciao, ciao, guys.